Welcome to Atlanta. Price is Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior YAHANNA.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're
us in here, but this is about an oppressive, fucked up system designed to keep niggas down and shit. Y'all wouldn't know nothing about that. What about you, little nigga? You know about that?
Yes.
Oh, you know about that? Tell me what you know about that. Tell me what you think about that.
I turn up when it's real in the field. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Light-skinned nigga, you gon' find me in the field. House niggas looking at a nigga like chill. I go hard when it's real in the field. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Light-skinned nigga, find me in the field. I don't give a fuck how a house nigga feel. Belly of the beast, we been living in hell. They like, damn Kai, how could you tell? Put us in the project, set us up to fail. Round here, bullets be flying like hell. Too many of my niggas either dead or in jail. Make a nigga work when you locked in a cell. Can't find work when you out on bail, but your homie got the work, so we passed you a scale. Got them birds like the Bible got quail. Niggas selling out cause they mama got bills. Turning to coons like Oprah and Gail. How you sell your soul just to get a little kale? They put you in a dress when you get a record deal. Wanna see a nigga getting high on pills? You can dance on a pole, you can sell that tail, but they never tell a nigga that he can go to Yale. We all created equal, that's white males. All lives matter, not black males. Another mother crying, another coffin got a nail. How many brothers out here got killed? How many of our sisters out here gotta heal? How many more caps gotta get peeled? We beef with each other so quick to pull the steel. George Zimmerman still alive and well. I turn up when it's real in the field. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Light-skinned nigga, you can find me in the field. House niggas looking at a nigga like chill. I go hard when it's real in the field. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Light-skinned nigga, find me in the field. I don't give a fuck how a house nigga feel. I turn up when it's real in the field. Feel. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Feel. Light-skinned nigga, you gon' find me in the field. Feel. House niggas looking at a nigga like chill. Chill. Yo, chill!
The prison industrial complex is a system situated at the intersection of government and private interests. It uses prisons as a solution to social, political, and economic problems. It includes human rights violations, the death penalty, slave labor, policing, courts, the media, political prisoners, and the elimination of dissent.
They just want us to die in silence. They just want us to die in silence. They just want us to die in silence. I might start me a fucking riot. Slave rebellion, no compliance. They just want us to die in silence. They murder minds like they got a license. I pray for the coronavirus to kill all of these violent tyrants. They prey on us like they poaching lions. World War III's on the horizon. Black and Hispanics form alliance. From the west coast to the islands, this pressure is making diamonds. They've awakened sleeping giants. I turn up when it's real in the field. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Light-skinned nigga, you can find me in the field. House niggas looking at a nigga like chill. I go hard when it's real in the field. This for my niggas that kneel on the field. Light-skinned nigga, find me in the field. I don't give a fuck how a house nigga feel. I turn up when it's real in the field. I don't give a fuck how a house nigga feel.
Nigga, did you just say what I was trying to say, but smarter? I like this little nigga.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. You in live Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, Priest and Captain, NATAZACH, NASHAH, 10,000, Priest Captain, 10,000, NATAZACH, NASHAH, under Commanding General YAHANNA, Isupk. You're not in the UPK, you're not in the truth. Up, give it up. All right, all right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. We got in here. Yahweh Shimi Al Shai Barakatham. Yahweh Shemar Al Thumb by Shimi Al Shai. Shalom, shalom. All right, brothers and sisters in here. Sisters in here. Gad in here. Benjamin's in here. Gad, Judah in here. Shalom, shalom. Yagadar, Yagadar. Tazarai, Tazarai. All right. That's close to Paul, Matazah. Yahweh Shalom Shabbat. All right, all right. We good to go everywhere. All right. Let's gonna start off questions. Any questions in the room? We're gonna start off with questions. All right. Mm-hmm. So we typing all right, no questions. Okay. We'll find first. So we are going to go. See, where do I want to start? Where do I want to start here? Oh, no. Let's see. No questions in the room. All right. We're going to start with Exodus. I want Exodus first. As a matter of fact, no. Let's start with Leviticus first. We're going to start with Leviticus. And let's see. What do I want first? As a matter of fact, we're going to continue there. Let's start with Matthew first, then we'll go to Leviticus. All right. Matthew 5:17. Christ says, don't think that he did away with the law. Now, the law contains our identity, which is where we started a class or so ago, talking about how the law contains our identity, but we want to get into it to show just how it describes our people and why this is so important and what Christ was saying. We want to start here because a lot of times you'll always hear Christians say that the New Testament and the Old Testament is something different. Your woman, all right. Your one what? Your one cut to what? Tazarah. With the water, sister. How was my day? My warm cup. My warm cup. All right. You want what to wab, Tazarah. The water aqua. You want what to wab. All right. So we're gonna start at Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17, where Christ says, think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I'm not come to destroy, but to fulfill, meaning to make what they said come to pass, because they prophesied of him. Even though many Christians, many people that open the Bible think it's saying something different, which of course we know it does not in the Isupk. So what I want to do, because we know what it says in verse 18, for verily or truthfully I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. Heaven is the sky above you. You have the birds are. Then you have above that, you have the atmosphere. Then you have the stratosphere, outer space where the stars are. And then you have the, those are heaven. Till heaven, you can look up and see that there's still a sky above your head. And the reason why it says heaven and earth is because the earth and the world are separate things. Heaven and the earth are also separate things. The earth is what you stand on, or NATAZACH, which is the land, the earth, the ground. That's what's under your feet. So until the sky above your head is gone and the earth beneath your feet are gone, one jot, meaning one dot of the I, or one tittle, one crossing of a T, shall in no wise pass from the law till, which is until, all be fulfilled. That's why he said, I'm not coming to destroy the law and the prophets. I'm coming to fulfill. Nothing is going to be taken away until everything is fulfilled. That's why you can still see the sky above you. You can still see the ground beneath your feet. Verse 19, it says, therefore, whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, whatever commandment most people deem to be the least important. Everybody can agree that taking someone's life is a pretty huge commandment, but most people would not agree with something as small as, to them, as to telling a lie. They still teach their kids about Easter, the tooth fairy, the Easter bunny. You're gonna die and go to heaven. Jesus is white when the Bible says he's black. Those are things that are obvious lies, but people still consider that a least commandment. Most people are lying to their children if they're in the world. You understand, from a very young age. The tooth fairy, the Easter bunny, all kinds of lies that are told that are the customs of other nations of people that we've been taught to teach to our children. You understand? That's why Christ is saying, whosoever shall break one of these least commandments, and not only are they breaking it, teach men so. They're teaching others to break it, which is what parents teach their children to break God's laws, which is what Christian and religious leaders teach us to break God's laws. You understand? Which, if you don't know these laws, you can't serve the Most High. You cannot follow Christ. That is what Christ is saying out of his own mouth, even though still Christians are teaching Christ did away with the law. That's why he said this, because they were actively lying on him at the time when he was alive about him teaching that we don't have to obey Moses' law. All right. You understand? Whosoever breaks these least commandments and teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. There's a kingdom of heaven. So a second ago, we were talking about heaven, the sky above us, the ground beneath us. Now we're talking about a different heaven, the kingdom of heaven. What is the kingdom of heaven? That is when the men, the 144,000, which is the governing body of Christ, which is what the Isupk is building here on the earth, is going to rule the entire world, which will be Christ's government, his cabinet that will rule every continent, every rainforest, every body of water, air, space, land, sea, swamp, mountain, valley. Everything will be ruled and under the authority of the 144,000, which is Christ's governing body to rule the world. That is the goal of salvation. That is why it says the kingdom of heaven. The word kingdom means a terrestrial force. We went over that definition before. Kingdom is something that's on the earth. It's not something you go to outer space. It's not something when you die. The definition of the word kingdom has terrestrial in it, because the kingdom of the Bible is something that's going to be done on the earth. Heaven and hell are both conditions that are played out on the earth. The Lord laid out the conditions in which we would live in heaven, in the covenant or the contract that we signed with him, as our forefathers signed it when we made the agreement with Moses and the Most High in Exodus, the 24th chapter. And then you also have what he gave us the terms if we broke the covenant, which was the other half of Deuteronomy 28, verses 16, all the way to the end of verse 68. He told us very clear the terms and guidelines and the conditions of this agreement that our forefathers made. Everything Christ is doing is about those covenants or those agreements that were made only with the children of Israel and the God of our fathers. You understand? Everybody else has made themselves gods. You understand? So this is what Christ is saying, but we're going to skip up a little bit. So now we're going to go up to verse 10. We're going to start at verse 10. We're going to skip up a little bit. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 10. It says, Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for standing for the Most High, for keeping his commandments. Blessed are they which are persecuted or hated for righteousness' sake. Theirs, meaning that persecution that they are going under, is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you. They'll hate you, want to come and fight up against you. That's why when you see the Isupk, the Christians think that a man of God is supposed to sing and dance and give hugs and kisses and look nice and sweet and soft and penny loafers and soft, uncomfortable shoes, cutting up the back of your feet, tie all up in your throat, three-piece suit. Christians figure that that's what it means to be godly, to sing and buck, dance and shake and bend over and squeal and, generally just take it, however anybody want to give it to you. That is the exact opposite of the Spirit of God. And this is why Christ is explaining this. He said, Blessed are you when men shall revile you or persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. Because we stand with the Most High, they say, oh, you all are speaking hatred. You all are talking racism, and you're violent, just like the Klan and all of these groups. Even though we don't attack people, we don't burn crosses on lawn, we don't force people to believe what we believe, we don't attack people who don't believe what we believe, we don't commit violence against anybody, and we will not allow you to commit any sort of violence against us. You're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for trying. You're going to pay for thinking it. You're going to pay. You understand? We're not Christians, and the Spirit of God is not a spirit that welcomes and makes everyone love you. The Lord is a man of war, and all throughout the Bible, those who have stood with the Most High have been everyone else's enemy. That's what it means to serve God. That's what it meant to follow Christ. That's why they killed him and all of his disciples. They hated them. Serving God and not eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster will put you at odds with everyone who does eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. If you were a Muslim, they would respect that. If you had some food allergy, they would respect that. If you were a dignitary for another people, or the Dalai Lama, or some holy man from a different culture serving a different God, they would all love and respect that. But because you are an Israelite serving the actual God of the Bible, that they do not respect. They don't respect that. When you say, I don't eat pork and I don't celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving, most Christians will try to test to see if you're telling the truth. They'll try to sneak and put pork in your food. That's why you have to be careful once you come into the truth, because Christians will try to trick you into serving Satan. Same way drug dealers try to trick people into getting hooked on cocaine and Percocets and Molly and spiking your weed and putting Mollies in your drink. It's the exact same spirit that's on Christians. They may not feel that way, but God said so. And that's something that you have to be aware of. The more you come into the truth, the more you'll realize that the spirit of Christianity is really a very cruel and unconscionable thing. You understand? And this is what Christ was explaining before you come to follow me. You be the only one in a house that celebrates Christmas. They will not be for you. They're uncomfortable because they serve Satan and you don't. They're uncomfortable because they get high and you don't. They're preparing for Christmas and you don't. They smoking weed and getting cocaine and pills, and you're not going to smoke weed with them. You're going to make them uncomfortable because everybody here is serving the god Shiva, and you are refusing by not smoking weed with them, and it makes them uncomfortable. This idea and concept that all people's gods and religions are comfortable fitting and sitting together is an absolute lie. Every people's religion across the world, they spread by forcing believers. They forced people into Hinduism. They forced people into Islam. They forced people into Christianity. They forced people into their belief. No religion has ever been spread by just loves and kisses. You understand? They force children against their will to have sex with them. They force people out of their land and their property by kidnapping people's families and beating and whipping and castrating them and torturing and burning them to force them to take on their religions. You understand? This whole concept that the world is a rainbow coalition where everyone just fits together nicely, that's not the world that God created. That's a fantasy that they sell to our people while every other nation of people eats us alive. And to serve Christ is to serve the Most High, is to keep God's commandments, is to have the Spirit of the Lord, is to learn the reality about life, which is what a good father teaches his sons and daughters, which is why the Bible, the God of the Bible, is our Father. Buddha is not the father of the believers of their God. Shiva is not their father in heaven. Allah is not the father in heaven of the Arabs. You understand? Our God is our Father. Abanawa, Sheba Shemayim, Quadash, Haya, Shimka, Yahweh. You understand? They don't have personality with their power. They got statues and rocks in the desert that make people walk in a circle and die of heat strokes. And they kick their bodies off to the side and keep walking in a circle like 40 people didn't just die in Saudi Arabia in Mecca, circling to kiss a rock. There's 140 degrees outside, and they in a big group of 1 million people. Their God isn't real. And the God of the Bible does not respect everybody else's culture and beliefs. Just like their God does not respect everybody's culture and belief. That's why they killed everyone to make followers. You understand? That's the reality. So what Christ is explaining is that you coming to serve your God for real is not going to make you popular. It's not going to make everybody your friend. It's not going to make everyone love you. And when they come against you because you stand with the Most High, that is righteous. Because you don't have Valentine's Day and Christmas, that is a righteous thing that you be left out. That they have a party that you do not go to. You understand? So when the Lord sends an evil spirit or a flood or a wildfire or a school shooter or a mall shooter or a church shooter through there, because they don't serve the Most High, you will be somewhere safe and they will be there in danger, where the evil spirit of the Lord is sent to punish sinners. You understand? This is the very important reality to understand about serving the Most High. And this is why Christ had to say, I'm not doing away with the law of the prophets, because this is exactly the way it was for the prophets and the brothers and sisters who stood with the prophets, which is exactly where we are now again in yet another empire that is about to be destroyed by the Most High. You understand? It's very important that we take meticulous care in learning the way that the Lord wants us to live our lives and gather ourselves together in the ISUPK, because the Lord is getting ready to have the rest of the world descend into war, just like Christ prophesied in Matthew the 24th chapter. Hey, shalom, Yahweh Shem Shabbat.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shabbat.
Most High in Christ. This chapter is really good. Damn. Skip me up to Matthew 5 and 1. I was trying to start in the middle, but it's very good. Take me up 5 and 1.
Kind of, sir. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 1. And seeing the multitudes.
You saw all the big crowds of people, just like you go to camp. You see the ISUPK, you see the brothers on the street speaking, and then crowds and crowds of people gather up sometimes. Christ had multitudes, countless groves and droves of brothers and sisters coming to hear him speak. That's why it's such a foolish thing to think nobody ever saw Christ. Nobody know what he looked like. He was one of the most popular figures on the entire planet Earth that was publicly executed by the Romans. Everyone saw Christ. People who never saw before at all finally got to see, and they saw Christ because he gave them their sight. So that's an absolute lie. He was the most prominent historical figure of all time. Thousands and thousands of years later, he is still the most talked about figure in all of human history. And they claim nobody know what he looked like. And it's written right here in the Bible. Keep going.
He went up into a mountain.
He went up into a mountain. You understand? For those of you who may be a little young, just think of, that's not gonna work. If you're 20, you never seen him. Who do I want? Just think of someone very, very famous, an extremely famous person with so many people there that they have to have security to keep the people back. And just imagine a big concert. Michael Jackson used to go everywhere. They're shutting down the mall. Security is pushing people falling out and fainting. Michael, they want to get a hug from Michael. They crying and, like they seeing the Pope or something. Well, it was so many people coming to see Christ speak that he went up into a mountain, a higher place, even further above the people, because they're just following him at this point. That's why he had 12 disciples with him. He had security. He came to heal the sick and raise the dead, but even he had security, armed security. For all you Christians that believe Jesus gonna work it out, Jesus had Peter. Peter opened fire in the crowd. You understand? So don't think that Jesus was just out hugging people. The kids wanted to come talk to Christ, and the disciples stopped the kids. You understand? Because they were on Shamar. They were doing security. But those of you that think they're just harmless little kids, the Arabs send kids with suicide bombs and blow people up. We come from the Middle East. We don't come from this African fantasy movie that you've been learning about in church your whole life. You understand? And you from the hood, the ghetto anyway. Kids kill people all the time. 12, 14, 15, you understand? They shooting everybody. King Von was 14 years old, killing everybody in Chicago. 15, 16, 8th graders, killing everybody. You understand? So there's a proper spirit to have when understanding the Bible, and that spirit from God will help you understand the real world. You understand? Our people have been living in a fantasy, and they're getting ready to be forced to wake up abruptly and violently to the real world. You understand? The one where the oppressor doesn't have his lattes and his government 401k to make him not be Freddy Krueger when he sees you. You didn't know that this was Freddy Krueger because every time you saw him, he had a latte and $200,000 in his bank account and his brokerage account. Now he won't have a latte. He won't have gas to fill up the tank. His kids won't have full cabinets. He won't be able to get the trampoline, and he's going to have to lose that car. Now you're going to find out that he was Freddy Krueger the entire time. He was Jason. He was Pinhead. He was Pennywise. That's who you're surrounded by. That's why the Lord told us to gather ourselves together. You understand? That's who went in that church in South Carolina. Dylan Roof is goddamn Pennywise. They thought they saw, the baby Jesus coming in church to save them. And it was really, a goddamn serial killer. All right, so keep going.
And when he was set,
he got up at the top of the mountain and he was set. Keep going.
His disciples came unto him.
Then the disciples came unto him. They came up to it. He found a place where he was going to go. He went up to a high place. Give me verse 2.
Verse 2. And he opened his mouth.
Now he started to speak up. Him and his disciples is up the mountain. You understand? He saw the multitude. He saw the multitudes. And he went up into a mountain. And when he was set, so he's going, he sees the multitudes. He's getting away from them because he went up into a mountain when he saw all the people. You understand? It doesn't say he went to the people. He went up in a mountain when he saw the people. Keep going.
And taught them.
So at the end, just a backdrop. At the end of verse 4, he's gathering his disciples together. He goes out and get them. He gets the brother. He gets John and James. He gets his squad together. He gets Andrew and John. They fishing, and Peter, his brothers, and Simon, he getting his squad together. He getting the disciples. He teaching. He going through Galilee. He in the synagogues. He preaching the kingdom. He healing people. So everybody know he got a reputation at this point. He going through all Syria. Syria is not in Africa. You understand? And they brought him all the sick people. They had tons of diseases. They got all kind of mental disorders, what Esau called now, all kind of mental and behavioral disorders. All of these things are illnesses and demons. You understand? And they followed him, tons and tons of people following him, all from Galilee, from Decapolis, from Jerusalem, from Judea, from Jordan. They everywhere following him, everywhere he go. Just imagine if Michael Jackson, what's better? Just imagine the popularity of the most popular person that you could think of, and they only have 12 security guards. Everywhere you went, it'd be easy to spot Michael Jackson or the most famous person you know. They don't have limos. They don't have private jets. They can't shut down the airplane. They can't close the mall. Him and his 12 disciples on foot, on horseback, on donkey. Everybody could catch up to them and see where he is and where he's going. It's not hard to find him. So in verse 5, he's going up into the mountains, away from where all the people are who've been following him, so that he could teach his disciples something. All right? So that's what's in verse 5. What does he tell them in verse 5? Keep going.
Salaki, so you mean verse 2 or verse 3, Salaki?
Wherever you were, Salaki. Keep going.
Khan. The end of verse 2, saying.
You got it.
Khan. Verse 3, blessed are the poor in spirit.
The poor in spirit, they are blessed. Why are the poor in spirit blessed? Because that's exactly who he's going to send the disciples to go and get. The poor in spirit. Because the ones that's not poor in spirit, they believe they blessed and highly favored. They saved and sanctified. They ain't got no need. Them that's well don't need a physician. Christ coming to fix stuff. They figure they got everything they need. They don't need Christ. Until they lose their security clearance and they get fired from their IRS job. And the church ain't paying no mortgages and no utilities. And the snatch man come get them cars, them bank accounts get drained. You understand? Now they poor in spirit. They looking for a meal and for help. And they humble. They're not full of pride and resources that would, stop them from receiving something. You understand? That's why he said, blessed are the poor in spirit. Keep going.
For theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
The kingdom of heaven is built for the poor. It's not for the rich man. That's why he said, how scarcely shall the rich enter into the kingdom of heaven. Our people are poor. The only ones of us that actually have a whole bunch of stuff is about 100 of us. Jay-Z and Oprah and Birdman, Puffy, there's about a good 100 of us. The rest of blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are paycheck to paycheck, every other paycheck to every other paycheck, just trying to, everything is just meeting. Just to go a little bit further, I think middle class, that Esau said that Joe Biden was talking about, that middle class was $130,000. That's the middle class everybody talking about. The oppressor living a real life in America has hundreds of thousands of dollars in his bank account. Your bank account with your 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 grand in there doing well. The oppressor has brokerage accounts with hundreds of thousands of dollars and annuities. You know what an annuity is? Of course you don't. You understand? He's got annuity accounts and retirement accounts and Roth accounts and investment accounts and mutual fund accounts, all of them with hundreds of thousands of dollars in it. And then he has his checking and savings accounts and hundreds of thousands of dollars in lines of credit. He's living a completely different life in America than you and your people are living in America. Our people are poor. You understand? Very, very poor. You don't know how much wealth is in America. Our people are very poor. You understand? And even further, our people are very poor in spirit, because our entire identity revolves around other races of people. You understand? Our language, our names, our belief, our God, what we celebrate, what we think is right and wrong, all of it comes from another nation of people. That is why Christ explained, I did not do away with the law and the prophets, because that's your identity. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 4, blessed are they that mourn.
Those that are sad, that are in mourning, they're blessed. Why? Why would someone say that? Keep going.
For they shall be comforted.
They'll be comforted because you can lift up their spirits, because they're in a state of mourning. Someone who is not in a state of mourning, they can't be comforted, because they don't need to be comforted, because they're in a state of mourning. The mission that Christ is sending these disciples on, why he's teaching and training them up, is he's giving them tools and an education for them to go and heal the broken and the poor and the suffering and the disease and the ones that could never afford their medication, that would never be looked at as legal citizens, no matter how much their mother and father work, no matter how much they pay and don't get paid, how much history they have of doing something, they're completely unrecognized and unappreciated. They're living on the edge. You understand? Living off their last bucks. Phone is off. Rent is backed up. You understand? That's who he's sending the disciples to. Not who the Christian church is telling you are serving God. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 5, blessed are the meek.
Blessed are the humble, those that you can teach something and aren't full of vanity and arrogance. You understand? That's why the Christian church is so full. People are too vain or too arrogant to even hear what the word of God says. You ever try to talk to a Christian about the Bible? You open the Bible and start talking about a scripture, they'll yell something over the top of Christ's words. Who wrote the Bible? It don't matter. I know in my heart, well, Jesus said this right here in red, that he didn't do away with the law of the prophets. I don't give a damn. I know my Jesus in my heart. That's vain. They're not meek. They're proud. That's why God sends an evil man with an evil spirit to shoot up the church. And there's no men in there to protect them, because the men that they like as a man of God is a man that will beg the murderer rather than meet him with equal force, because that's what they produce in church, which is not the Spirit of God. Hebrew Academy graduation coming up. You understand? Hebrew Academy graduation is getting down to the wire, you understand? The manager in YAHANNA is not raising up a choir, not raising up church boys. You understand? There's nobody in here praying for your mercy. We're not looking for your mercy. You understand? We wielding something important so that we have the ability to show you mercy. That's the Spirit of God. You can't show mercy unless you have the power to take something. You understand? Mercy is something that's shown by the strong. A weak man and a not powerful man cannot show mercy. He's at the mercy of a powerful man. You understand? That's not the Spirit of the Lord. The Spirit of the Lord is to make a man powerful and make him strong, full of wisdom, full of the Spirit of the Lord, full of proverbs, full of dark sayings from the Lord, full of commandments and principles and value and strength and power and dignity and respect and resources. You understand? That's what the Spirit of the Lord is for. That's what a prince of the power, or a prince with power means, which is Yasha'Allah, which is Israel, which is our name for all the 12 tribes. So keep going.
For they shall inherit the earth.
The meek is going to inherit the earth, because no one else among our people will be humble enough to learn that what they're doing is wrong and change. You understand? The rest of our people is too arrogant to change. You can show them black in the Bible, fried chicken, gold teeth. You understand? You can show them all of that. Black as if he burned in a furnace. Watch your mouth. Put some respect on my name. She belongs for the streets. You can show them all of that in the Bible. And they'll be too proud and too arrogant to even care what you're saying, because they hate the Lord that much. That's the true spirit. That's why Christ said, count them your enemies, because they're my enemies. And don't forget that these are enemies. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 6. Blessed are they which do hunger.
Blessed are the hungry. You hunger. Hungry for what? You want food? 5-piece, pork chops, seafood boils. Hungry for what, NATAZACH?
And thirst for righteousness. Salakia, and thirst after righteousness.
They're hungry and thirsty to learn what is the righteous thing to do. How do we be right? They're in these UPK classes, piling up, taking notes, learning how to be right, learning how to become a trooper, learning how to take their off, get an officer, follow orders, get into Christ's military, learning what is the righteous thing to do. How do I be right? What's the proper spirit am I supposed to be in as a brother, as a sister? You understand? The Lord said, blessed are they which hunger and thirst. Keep going.
For they shall be filled.
They're going to be filled. Why are they going to be filled? Because Christ is raising up disciples that's going to be able to teach them the proper way to do things. That's why he's teaching them. He's been teaching the rest of the people, but now he's giving a scripture breakdown class to his disciples. Keep going.
Verse 7. Blessed are the merciful.
Those who have the ability to show mercy. You cannot be merciful if you don't have the ability to take someone's life. You understand? Can't be merciful. A woman can be merciful to that unborn baby because she's been given power to take that baby's life. And she's merciful if she doesn't take that baby's life. If she commits that abortion, she is a merciless murderer of children. That's what it's called in the Bible. A poor soul destitute of help, with no ability to get help. And with the ability to take this child's life, she showed this child no mercy. That is not our culture. That is an evil heathen's culture of sacrificing your child, sacrificing your children, causing them to pass through the fire, sacrificing them unto idols. There's an ancient Canaanite or African beliefs there. The old world Babylonians practice it too, I believe, where they would take a newborn and children and babies and literally put them into an oven to sacrifice them unto their God. For all of you Egypt, Africa, ancient Africa, star crystal loving niggas. It would take babies, and that's the same thing you're doing with that abortion in spirit by sacrificing that baby unto an idol, unto your career, unto America, unto your job. And guess what? You killed your baby for a career, and now your security clearance is gone. No children, no grandchildren. You, your mouth, and your evil behind ran your husband off, and now here you are. No job, old, sick, hurt, can't start your career over. Your lovers have despised you now. You loved and married yourself to America, and America has divorced you. And now here you are. Now you are the poor in spirit. Now you might be able to hear something. You couldn't hear nothing with that bank account, that BMW, and that leather coat. Couldn't hear nothing then. You understand? You had the money phone to your ear. You couldn't hear nothing then. Now you might be able to listen to a little bit. You understand? Now you're poor in spirit. Now you might be meek about something. You understand? So keep going.
For they shall obtain mercy.
They're going to obtain mercy. They're going to get mercy with the merciful. You understand? The Lord says a man who would not show mercy unto another man like himself, how would that man dare think he going to get mercy from God? You don't show mercy to another man like you and expecting the Lord to show you mercy, and you not on his level. You're not merciful where you are. You understand? That's in the Apocrypha. Keep going.
Verse 8. Blessed are the pure in heart.
Keep going.
For they shall see God.
The Lord said, blessed are the pure in heart, the sincere in heart, but they're going to see the Most High. That doesn't mean that their eyes are going to see the Most High, meaning they're going to be able to come into the truth. They're going to be able to see the Spirit of the Lord. But you can't see it if you're not merciful, if you don't hunger and thirst for righteousness' sake, if you're not meek, if you're not humble, because you're going to see the men of God standing on the corner breaking down the scriptures, and you're going to walk past with your arrogant self full of Christianity. You understand? Full of Islam, full of weed, full of whatever, full of democracy and voting. Keep going.
Verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers.
Very important. The Lord is a man of war, but blessed are the peacemakers. Very important to have a peacemaker. You understand? It's very important to have a peacemaker, to know how to wield the ability to have peace. That's why it's important. He said, blessed are the merciful. The Lord is a man of war, but it's a very important skill to learn how to wield peace, how to make peace. Right now, our people are full of the ability of making war with each other and don't know how to make peace between brothers, but don't know how to go to war against the oppressor. You understand? Those things are important to learn. Keep going.
For they shall be called the children of God.
They're going to be called the children of the Most High. You understand? Now give me 10.
Verse 10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake.
Blessed are they which are persecuted for doing the right thing, for not stealing, not getting high, not having Christmas, not going to Easter dinner, not sitting with the family while they eat pork chops and seafood boils. You're blessed as that person which is hated and punished for not going against the Most High, for standing with the Lord. Daniel got thrown into the lion's den. Plenty of brothers and sisters were thrown into the gladiator arenas to fight lions and tigers and bears, just like the movie Gladiator. They really did that. The Romans really did it. The same spirit that you see in the UFC, they would take regular people and throw them in the gladiator arena to fight tigers, to fight bears. You understand? And very often, brothers and sisters did not defeat tigers and bears. You understand? They did die, like the sister with her 7 sons that General Muhammad talked about, that stood for the Most High. Jezebel was killing the prophets. Amos had to sneak and go feed prophets. You understand? Jeremiah was lured down into a pit, into a hole. You understand? All right. Like that's what ended up happening. John the Revelator was on the island of Patmos. He was sent to a island prison like Alcatraz, Pelican Bay, or Rikers Island, a big prison. You on the island by yourself, just you and the prison. That's it. You banished from all society. There's no way off except you jump in the water and swim with the sharks, hit the rocks, drown in the current. You know, best case scenario, the octopus, God knows whatever else eats you up. Like that's what happened. You understand? So they stood for righteousness. Christ stood for righteousness, and they crucified him. They stoned Stephen. They crucified Peter upside down. You understand? So this whole idea that you believing in the Bible, having the faith of the men and the sisters in the Bible, is supposed to be some hugs and kisses, sing along, soft type stuff. That's not what it was. You understand? That's never what it's been. Not from the beginning, not in 2025, not during the time of Christ. This wasn't never about being nothing soft and sweet. You understand? That's never what it was. Mattathias could not have stood for the Most High, except he was a man of war. He would not have been able to stand and fight against the Greeks and take his sons and leave everything he had of power in the city to go live into the mountains, and praying that the Lord directed him once he got there, because he was full of the Spirit of the Lord. You understand? That's why it's so important to learn about the history and the heritage of the Most High, of the prophets, of the law. That's the things that Christ is saying are not done away with. It's such a disservice and such a disrespect and a negligence and a disregard for Christians to teach that Christ did away with the law. The law is the records of what DNA is in your soul, in your veins. People talk that 23andMe and my ancestry chart. Your ancestry chart is thou shalt not murder. That's what's in your veins. That's your DNA. Thou shalt not have sex with thy brother's woman. That's in your DNA. That's in your chart. Have no other gods before me. That's your DNA. That's what's in your chart. That's your 23andMe. Don't vote. The Lord thy God shall appoint a leader of thee, of thy brethren. Thou shalt not set a stranger above thee. That's your DNA. That's your bloodline. That's your family records. That's your history. You understand? And you can't get it without coming in the Isupk to learn who and what you are in the Bible. You understand? All right. So keep going. Tell them where you're reading from. Shalom. Thumb.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, the second part of verse 10. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Persecuted for righteousness' sake, theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The kids at the school might be mad, but listen, you stand for the Most High. They having Halloween and Christmas. They're having birthday parties. And then somebody gets shot at the birthday party, and they'll know why you weren't there. And they'll remember that one brother told me that they don't celebrate birthdays. They told me they don't celebrate Christmas. And we went to the Christmas party or the Halloween party, and Davon got shot at the Halloween party. You understand? They're gonna remember that you didn't go and why. You understand? Like standing with the Lord has benefits, and standing against the Lord has consequences. It's never been an in the middle. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 11. Blessed are ye.
You're blessed.
When men,
keep going.
When men shall revile you.
Now, wait a minute now. Why is Christ saying this stuff? Why is Christ in the Bible saying all of this? Why is he telling them about men gonna hate you? They're gonna revile you. They're going to talk bad about you. They're going to be coming to kill you and looking to do you harm. What kind of advertisement is this? He said, you will come join me. We're going to serve God. I got this healing power, turn water into wine. I got bread. You're going to get blessings. Hallelujah. You're going to get blessings and blessed and blessed and blessed in the name of Jesus. Christ didn't say nothing about none of this. He said, you're going to be blessed when they hate you, because they're going to hate you because you serve God. They're going to want to kill you because you serve God. Your family not going to deal with you anymore because you serve the Most High, and you're blessed because of this. He didn't say none of the stuff the church is saying. Blessed are ye when everyone else in your class has the birthday party and you don't get no cake and you don't get no Valentine's and you don't get a Christmas present from the Secret Santa. Blessed are ye when you get uninvited, because you stand with the Most High for righteousness' sake, and they in the world just doing whatever you're supposed to do in the world. What is Christ telling them? What is he saying to them? He telling them everything gonna be nice and sweet and wonderful. When you become a Christian, you go to church, everybody hugging you, little old ladies leaving makeup all on your shirt collar, putting lipstick print all over you, got you smelling like that rough, abrasive perfume that all the church ladies wear. They got the nice white gloves, they sliding down the aisle, got the shoes cutting up your feet. You understand? Everybody back hurting. They putting on a fake smile, jumping up and down, acting a fool. Soft carpet, beautiful dim lighting, pretty flowers. Everything's nice and lavender and purple and gay. You understand? They singing sweet songs to you. Everybody rocking back and forth and clapping and smiling, having a good time. Christ didn't tell the disciples about none of that. He didn't say none of that. He basically telling them that this is going to be a sad, upsetting, poor, lonely journey, and most people is going to hate you. That's what he told them. This is the whole chapter. It's him laying down how it's going to go. What was Christ doing? Why did he say that? The Christian church say the doors of the church are always open. We want everybody in here. Everybody come on in. This is the house of prayer for all people. Come on now, I'm going to start calling y'all names. Somebody respond. We got in here. We got an officer. We got, who is that? Officer Yahasha. Got Quashar in here. Yabakar. Shemagabar. Right? Ayun. Right? What is Christ talking about? Shalak. Deborah. Shakal. What is he talking about? Zarakah. Got Tazarai in there. How was your day? Anna. Tawabah. Yamatazai up here. What is he talking about? Hadassah. A call support. Sister Hadassah. Hadassah, what is he talking about, sister? Nazam, what is Christ talking about? What is he saying to these disciples, Tazarai? What is he saying, Yagadah? What is he saying? This doesn't sound like an advertisement to me. The Army gonna lie to you, tell you fun, travel, and adventure. The Navy gonna tell you you're a global force for good. We're gonna pay for your college tuition. You understand? What is he telling them? What is he saying?
So we
got here? Salaki. We got a few answers.
Come on, sir.
You see the answers? We can read the answers. Let's get some of these answers up here, Mataza. What is he saying? What does it all mean?
Sir. Trooper Yabakar said, Salakia, he was trying to prepare them for the reality they were going to face.
He was telling them about reality. All right. We got, who else we got in here? Let's run them down. What we got in here?
Come on. So Yagadar said, letting know it ain't sweet when you serve the Lord.
You telling them ain't nothing sweet about this journey here.
Come.
He went and got these cats off their job. They was at their slavery. They worked for a fishing company. They was at work on the boat casting fish, fishing to pay the rent and the mortgage the child care, all that. He went and got them cats, said, yeah, take the net, put it on the other side. Y'all should be good. Tell your daddy he gonna bring the rest in by himself. The worker's gonna handle it. Go ahead.
It's a warning.
It's a warning. You damn right, sister. It's a warning. Keep going. What else we got?
Brother Kushai said, endure till the end.
He said, endure to the end. You understand? He ain't tell him about the end. Not yet. He ain't tell him about the end. He ain't mentioned the end yet. He said they're gonna hate you off the break. He said they're gonna hate you. He didn't say nothing about the end. He didn't tell them that. But yeah, they gotta endure to the end. That's right. But he ain't get there yet. Keep going.
Sister Zarakah said, prepare themselves for what is to come when serving the Most High.
Yeah, he telling them what this is. That's why the whole New Testament, they teaching you about Abraham. Abraham left his home in the Middle East. You know what it is to leave your home in the desert? Who here has ever been to the Middle East before? Anybody ever been to the Middle East? You know what the Middle East is full of? Desert. 120-degree desert. If you don't know where you're going in the desert, you fill in the blank. What happens if you don't know where you're going in the desert? Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. You dial 911. You get emergency services. It rains sometimes, so you should be straight. You got to collect some rainwater. What happens if you go somewhere and you don't know where you're going in the desert? What happens? Yes, you're going to die. It's very simple. And it won't take long either. It won't take long. 120 degrees in the actual desert, no shade. What temperature is the same? 109, 115. The air, 120, 130. Where's the shade? That way. Eventually. Maybe. Hopefully. You're going to die. In a few hours, you're going to die. You don't know where you're going? You won't find out where you came from. It's sand. The wind blow, your steps are gone. You just out there. It's freezing at night. It's piping hot during the day. Your life is over. The father of faith, Abraham, got a message from God, from the Most High, that he did not know, that he did not learn about, that told him to get away from his family. And the Lord was going to make him a great nation. And what was inside of him, the DNA in him, his 23 in me and ancestry said, oh, that's good with me. Y'all, we leaving in the morning, y'all. Where we going? Don't worry about all that. Just pack. All right. I guess I'm going to see y'all in a couple of days. Hey, we're going on this journey here for a little bit. You know, we got to do something out this way. Where you going? He said, just pack. We rolling out. Nah, Abraham get there. All right. Be back next week. Nah, you ain't coming back next week. What you mean? Talking about? I'm going to see you in a couple of weeks. Something like a couple of weeks, right? Couple of weeks? Okay, I just want to ask you about the trip, sir. Salaki. I know you said we was leaving tomorrow. We packed. But how long are we going where? I just want to let my ribs know. How long we going? I got a lot of kids. The farmland, family, and the goats. We going. You said bring them. All right. Y'all pack. We go. We all going. All right. Where we going? I don't know, but you coming. So, all right. I don't know. He said, all right, be ready to roll. Where are we going? The Lord said, keep going. Get away from your whole family. I'm going to make you a great nation. He could have said, we straight here. He could have said, I don't know. He could have said, well, today is not your day to be God. Because my father and them, they got a God for every day. Maybe you the Tuesday God, but it's It's like Wednesday night right now. We got a Wednesday night God too. So if you could leave a message, I could get back to you next week maybe. But no, he didn't say none of that. The Lord told him to leave your family, and I'm going to lead you into a land flowing with milk and honey, and I'm going to give a covenant to your seed. And what was inside of Abraham, who was a different man than everyone else, he said, that's good with me. We rolling. I'm rolling. Ain't bring his mama, ain't bring his aunt, didn't bring his cousins, didn't bring his best friends, didn't bring nobody. Nieces. He bought his nephew Lot. See how much trouble Lot got into, don't you? You understand? But he rolled out. Imagine what type of faith you have to be. This is not a God that's known to everyone. Everybody didn't know the Most High. They didn't have no personal record of the Most High. The Lord dealt with Adam. Adam taught his sons. All of Adam's sons messed up. Out of the lineage of Adam's sons, he had a great son, Enoch. Enoch made a great son, Noah. And Noah was a man who stood with the Most High, and he had 2 decent sons and 1 terrible son, Ham. And he was good enough for the Lord to use to build the ark to restart life over. And then the Lord had to start over with a chosen son and make a chosen family again. That's what our forefather Abraham did. This is what everyone was being taught in the New Testament. They weren't being taught Jesus did away with the law and now the prophets don't matter. Like, that's so disrespectful for someone to work that hard. He literally spent his whole life. We're going to go to Hebrews, the 11th chapter after this. He spent his whole life standing with the Most High. He never made it to where the Lord told him he was going to give it. He said, I'm going to give it to your son. And then your son is going to get it. And then I'm going to give it to his son. And he said, all right, God will come. That'll work. What are we doing next? Like, that's a different type of man. That's not a regular man. That's not a Chinese man. That's not an Arab man. That's not a white man. It's not an African man. That's not an Ethiopian man. That's not what's in that's not in an East Indian man. That's not a Polynesian man. That's not the Usos. That's not the Samoans. You understand? That's a different type of man in the earth. The Lord made that man something different. That everyone else is not like this man. Is not like the seed that this man is going to produce in the earth. Is a different seed. You understand? Like, that's our identity. Now imagine trying to understand God without knowing any of the backstory. You on season 50 trying to understand what the show is about. You looking for the main character, looking at some white guy trying to figure out what the show is about. You the damn main character the whole time. Say, here, look at that. I guess that's Jesus right there. That's Jesus. I think the white guy is just, maybe both of them is Jesus. Okay. You the main character. In your whole life, you looking at the white man like it's his movie. It's your movie. You're starring in the movie. The whole show is about you. The whole Bible is about you. New and Old Testament. And then they tell you it don't matter. Your great-great-grandfather left you records about how he made it through his struggles. And then the church tell you it don't matter. It don't matter. Like, that's an evil thing. You understand? So keep going. Keep reading from where you were. Then we're going to go to Hebrews 10.
Come. And persecute you.
All right, y'all. We're going to switch over to the other channel. On Instagram, we're going to switch over to the other channel. All right? All right. So, like, NATAZACH, keep reading. I'll be right back.
Come. And persecute you. And shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Verse 12. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Verse 13. Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost its flavor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men.
And that's what's happening to us. We getting trodden underfoot of men because the thing that activated our savor, activated our flavor, we done lost that. The thing that activated that soul, that made all of that music down to your bones, all your sliding and your blues and your jazz and your rhythm, all of your spirit was good and healthy and strong and full of fight and fire and vigor and tenacity and strength and power and unity. Well, you join the oppressor to live life like a white man. That's gone. You shaved your beard off to be like the oppressor. You put dreadlocks in your hair to be like the East Indian. You started smoking weed. You're sucking the damn spirit out of you. Sucking and smoking. Blowing the damn spirit of the Lord out of you. You got weaker. You got softer. You got more emotional, more feminine. Your woman took over the whole damn thing. She's the man in the community now. You understand? Like this destroyed us. The Lord said, ye are the light of the world. Ye the salt of the earth. You give the world its flavor. You tell them what it means to dance. You tell them what it means to cook. I talk about this all the time. The Japanese heard black soldiers playing jazz. In Korea and Japan and the world wars, they stick jazz in all kinds of places that it does not belong. They in their anime shows, they blowing up cars and having wars with big robots, and they playing jazz music. Street Fighter, they playing jazz music. Shooting fireballs, fighting demons, they playing jazz music in the theme song. Fighting in the alleyway, they got jazz music playing. Smooth piano and saxophones and clarinets. That's your spirit infected them that much that they want to do your dance. They want to slide and moonwalk and twist, shimmy and dougie and shake their shoulders and jump up and down and bachata and all kind of moving and stuff because you got the juice. You got the flavor. That's why you can't make it anymore because you done gave your spirit away to everybody. Or everybody make the same sound. They whining, they high on drugs, they slurring. The singers is slurring. The rappers is slurring. Everybody sound the damn same. They hoeing, they selling tail. Their tail is the best. They getting high. I got a gun. I'm robbing. I'm a gangbanger. I got guns. I'm a horrible drug addict. I'm having sex with your woman. Anybody want to kill me, come get me. 5, 6 years, they dead. You understand? Everybody's saying the same thing. Why? You done lost your spirit. This is exactly what Christ was saying. All the inventions and stuff we made, we stopped inventing. Everything that run the world, the laptop, the phone, the refrigerator, the icebox, the heater, everything, all of that stuff come from the salt of the earth, the light of the world. You give the world light. Nobody loved Islam. You made the world love Islam with Malcolm X marching in bow ties, doing slide and stomping the damn yard. You made the world love Islam. They didn't love Islam in Africa. They was getting castrated and beheaded and tied to horses, having the horses run in opposite directions. That's Islam to the rest of the world. You introduced Islam with smooth-faced, good-talking niggas, bow ties, NBC interviews, smart intellectuals with big glasses. You understand? Now they look at this. Well, Islam is the black man's religion now. You understand? You did that. The world hated Christianity. The Roman legion was slaughtering everybody, beheading people, burning feet, cutting off arms and hands, forcing them to be Roman Catholic. Then here you come, singing them gospel songs, hitting them notes, making everybody cry, jumping up and down with your skill and your voice. Look at how we beat these slaves and they sing so majestic, so angelic. Sweet Jesus, Lord Jesus, Almighty Jesus, long as I got Jesus, me and Jesus, I'm going up yonder, swing low, sweet chariot. You took slave Negro spirituals and turned around everybody's experience about bloody Queen Mary and the bloody Roman Catholic Church and the conquistadors and the Jesuits and the Quakers and the Rosicrucians. You changed that. And what did we get out of it? Nothing. Like, this is what Christ was talking about. That's why it's so imperative that you listen to what Christ said out of his own mouth, because what he was saying is exactly what the prophets had been saying that came before him. He didn't come to do away with them, and they lie on him, and he does not get the proper representation that he deserves outside of the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge. You understand? So what verse you at now?
Matthew's 5:14.
Matthew 5:14. The hell is this? Police didn't kill somebody else? Yeah. We missed something. I wasn't here. I missed something. What we got? They persecute you, revile you, speak evil of you for my name, for my reputation's sake. Christ's reputation is on you. We stand for his reputation in the UPK. That's why they come up against us. All the fake Israelites can get together, and none of them serve Christ. But none of them can come in here. You understand? Unless they be willing to change, because we actually have his name's sake. You understand? Give me verse 12 again. It's a lot.
Khan. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 12. Rejoice and be exceeding glad.
Rejoice and be glad. They coming up against you because you serving the Lord. They hate you because they eating mackerel and tuna. And you say tuna is unlawful. It's always something with you. It's always something. You can't just eat the food. You got to know what's in it. Why does it matter what's in it? Well, God has a dietary law, and I'm not going to turn against God to make you happy. So if you don't know if it's in there, if it's pork or not, then you can eat without me. They say, fine, then we'll eat without you. And then eventually they won't ask you to eat no more. You'll eat with us in here in the UPK, or you'll eat by yourself. And when the Lord starts taking fingers and feet and toes, you understand? When the Lord starts taking them, then they'll be able to realize, like, you know what? I had that niece that didn't eat pork. Maybe this is why. I had that nephew that was telling us about shrimp. I can't feel my arm right now. Maybe this is why. He said something about God, said I can't eat pork. And we was laughing and waving all that pork in their face. And I think that's when cousin Jimmy had that heart attack and died. Remember? After that, yeah. My doctor said we shouldn't eat pork either. I'm going to just pray over it in the name of Jesus. All right. Tell grandma goodbye. You understand? Christ was preparing the disciples for the actual road. And in the UPK, we prepare you for the actual road. You understand? We prepared for singing. There's spikes on this. This is a war scarf. It's a war scarf. There's spikes on here. Real spikes. Stick your finger in there and get cut. It's real spikes. We go to camp with real spikes on our hands, real spikes on our wrists, real gauntlets. You understand? Real war belts, just like Christ. We got barricade. That barricade is for your safety. You understand? As you make it on the other side of that barricade, Lord be with you. You understand? Christ was not raising up choir boys. All right. So keep going.
For great is your reward in heaven.
Your reward in the kingdom of heaven is going to be great, because you standing for the Lord. When everybody stand against you, the Lord said, I will stand for you before my Father. That's what Christ said. Keep going.
For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you.
The prophets that came before you, they came up against them too. They were killing them, stoning them, chasing them down, calling them names, trying to get him killed. You understand? All of that. That's what was happening. That's the entire history of the prophets. They weren't glad to see them when they came most of the time. They were scared to death of Samuel when he came. They were scared. They wanted to know, did he come for peace or did he come for war? Because he carried the Lord's reputation on him. You understand? All right. Any more on that?
That was the end of verse 12.
Right. You are the light of the world. So, okay, we already read that. All right. Like this is what the Lord was talking about. Let's see. That's inside the altar. Let's see. Well, I want to go in there, run it out, snap his neck in the altar, legs, water. There's a whole recipe, a whole process. Just want to show you, just real quick, when it talks about ye are the light of the world, anybody that's aspiring to be a trooper, when you sign in, you need to sign in as young man. Everybody should sign in as young man. You aspiring to be a trooper. You understand? Make sure you get your attendance the correct way. Otherwise, don't worry about it. All right? Seen a couple of brothers in it. All right? So it says, ye are the light of the world. Okay. Take me to Leviticus chapter 1. Male without blemish, killing the sprinkling blood. Some pieces. Take me to Leviticus chapter 1 and verse 10. Like this is the actual culture of our, what's the first one? Oh, tabernacle. Should in man burnt offering, offer gathered. Start at verse 1. This is what's in the commandment. I just want to give you an idea to see what our actual heritage and culture is. All right? Because it's contained in the Bible. A lot of times people have questions. What did we do before slavery? Who are we? All the blackety black talk chats and talk shows talking about, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know my history. There's no way for me to know. That's not true. And it's such a shame. It is such a crime for people to say that they represent God and make people believe that they are men of God, and they don't teach blacks and Latinos our heritage that God gave us, that's literally written, recorded in thousands of pages in the Bible. It is recorded, our entire history and heritage, so much so that everyone else in the world has taken pieces of the Bible and made something for themselves in their culture. Everyone else has it and understands what it's for, except for one people. The people it's actually written about. Give me Leviticus chapter 1 and verse 1.
This is Leviticus chapter 1, verse 1. And the Most High called unto Moses.
Lord called Moses.
And spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying,
the Lord is speaking unto him from inside of the tabernacle, which is the tent. The Lord is calling Moses from the tent. Keep going.
Verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel.
Talk to the children of Israel. Just as a sidebar, most of the horror movies and things that you've seen, many of these things are inspired by ancient old world cultures of the other nations of people. Many of the things are also inspired by what's actually in the Bible. Most things they like to call a supernatural thriller, things like that. You understand? When they try to mimic different things to be spooky and get everybody in the theater all scared to death and everything. You don't have to watch them if you don't want to. Ain't no kind of crime or nothing. But most of those things, many of those things, they mimic what's actually in the Bible. Just imagine there's a tent, like your Freddy Krueger's, your boogeyman, and some monster in the closet, some monster under the bed, all the things that Christians have kind of lurking around the outskirts of Christianity. You got to be good or the boogeyman gonna come get you. Santa Claus won't bring you presents. You'll get the Krampus and a lump of coal will come. Santa's evil black demon helper that comes to all the bad kids. You understand? That's what ends up happening. Well, those things is old world customs, just like all of Christianity from the other nations of people that ended up getting mixed into Christianity. You understand? So imagine you in the temple and there's a voice that's coming to you out of a tent. There's a tent is here. So it's a room, it's a tent. We're in the Middle East now. And there's a voice that's coming to talk to you out of the tent. You understand? Imagine you go to open your garage door. And you open your garage door, you open the basement door, and there's a room around the corner, and you hear a voice calling you from that room around the corner. What y'all finna do? Huh? What y'all finna do? What y'all gonna do? What y'all doing? What y'all finna do? Don't everybody answer at once now. What you doing?
Slaggy, sir.
Brother says Salaki. Go ahead.
It might be time to go. I think that'd be my knee jerk.
Might be time to go.
It might be time to go. I don't want some random voices coming out.
Might be time to go. All right. All right, we got some sisters answer. We got some answers up on the board. Sister Rod says she's running. Tower Bob says she's running. You running. Right? We got two runners. There's some runners. There's some track stars. We got two runners. All right. Get out. All right. Getting out. We got three runners. All right. Okay. So you might accidentally cuss and run. All right. You're going to run. So the general consensus amongst Israel is all the blacks and Latinos and Native Americans, they're going to run. Y'all going to run. All right. Well, the four of y'all going to run. So whoever calling you from out the closet, y'all, the rest of y'all going to get got because the four of them ran. The other 9 of y'all is still in there. So whatever's around that corner, y'all got. You understand? No, you're too late, brother. Too late. Whatever it is, got you now. You understand? You took too long to run. You understand? Well, this is how the Most High was communicating with Moses. He communicated with Moses the first time. Just imagine you go outside. You outside. Moses had just killed somebody. He hid their body. And then he went back to the same place the next day. This is the type of man we're talking about. This is not a choir man. He killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. And then went home. And then came right back to the same area where he just killed somebody yesterday. And then he told the two brothers, what y'all fighting about? And then they said, you gonna kill us like you killed old what's the name yesterday and hid his body in the sand? And then Moses was like, damn, they found out. Moses wasn't concerned that he killed that Egyptian yesterday. Moses was concerned that they found out that he killed the Egyptian yesterday and hid the body. You understand? Then he ran away. He didn't run away the first day when he caught the body. He was fine with that. It was the next day when he found out people do. That's when he had the problem. You understand? The Bible is not the book that you think it is. Sister said, find daddy. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Well, that's why the Lord chose Moses, because the rest of y'all would have ran away. You understand? Well, that's a good answer. Now, it's probably not a good time. But in that day, the Lord spoke to Moses coming out the tabernacle. Imagine Moses kill somebody and then come back the next day straight. Somebody find out he run away. And he's on the run in the wilderness. And then while he's there in the wilderness, hiding from this body he caught the other day, a tree, a bush, like a shrub in front of your house, the whole thing catches on fire. Just out the blue, just catches on fire. And then it starts talking to you. Yeah, it starts talking to you. And the first thing that it says is the same reason that all of you would have ran away, which is the first thing that any messenger that the Lord sends always says first, which is what? What is the first thing that the Lord tells the messenger to say when he comes to deliver a message from the Lord? What's the first thing that they say? Who knows? While everybody is still running away from the last thing, what is the first thing that the Lord says? Who knows? I say we need longer classes. Y'all need better notes. It's about 6 people in here I ain't had one answer from. No, it's before thus saith the Lord. It ain't that. You can't say thus saith the Lord. Everybody ran away. Fear not. That's correct. That's the first thing the Lord says is fear not. Because there's a tree that's on fire and it's talking to you. And before you start to run, that tree needs to tell you to not be afraid. There's a voice that's coming out of nowhere. It's telling you to walk towards the desert and don't stop. And before you not do what the rest of it says, it's going to tell you don't be afraid. There's an angel coming, and the angel looks absolutely terrified. And when you see him, you are scared to death. And everybody else is scared to death. And the first thing the angel has to tell you is don't be scared to death. Because I know I scare everyone to death. Because the Lord is scary to death. And the prophets are scary to death. And I know you are scared to death, but don't be, because the Lord sent me. Now listen, you understand? That's how those conversations all go. You understand, for the most part. All right. So now that we got that, this is what the Lord is saying to Moses. There's a voice calling to Moses out of the tent because everyone else probably would have ran away. That's why the Lord chose Moses. You understand? Keep going.
And say unto them.
This is what you are going to tell to them, because I'm not going to talk to them, because they've all ran away. So you have to talk to them, because they are scared to death of me. So they're going to listen to you. Keep going.
If any man, Salaki, if any man of you bring an offering unto the Most High.
Anybody bring an offering unto the Lord. This is how you bring your offering. Keep going.
Ye shall bring your offering of the cattle.
You're going to bring your cattle. Keep going.
Even of the herd.
Of the herd. You're going to get a cattle. You're going to bring it of the herd. Keep going.
And of the flock.
Of the flock. However you get your cattle. You're going to get it out the herd. You're going to get it the ones you're growing. You're going to get a wild one. You're going to get it of the flock. Keep going. Give me verse 3.
Verse 3. If his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd.
Keep going. Just read it through.
Come on. Let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Most High.
You're going to offer it before the Most High in there. All right. It's going to tell you how to do it, the sacrifice of that bull or that offering. Now, skip down to verse 5.
Come on, verse 5. And he shall kill the bullock before the Most High.
You're going to do what now?
And he shall kill the bullock before the Most High.
It's something you got to understand. Serving the Lord, things get killed. Things get killed all the time, serving the Lord. All this singing and dancing and shucking and jiving and smooth suits and pretty white gloves, that was never what serving the Lord was about. You gotta get your mind right. Christ took them disciples from their slavery out up into the mountains to get their mind right. This serious business here. This is what the men who had this job before you did. Make sure you're ready, because you got it. All right? The priest in the temple is doing the sacrifice for the Lord. They taking animals' lives. They slaughtering cow. Cow weigh 1,000 pounds. They bringing that cow in there. Nice young tender cow. They bringing that cow in there, a voluntary offering. Where's that cow going? Who knows? Everybody give me a 1. Let me make sure everybody's still in here, because I ain't heard. It's about 10 of y'all I ain't heard from in 40 minutes. Everybody give me a 1 in this class. Everybody give me a 1. Let me know everybody's still in here. Where let everybody go? Y'all give me a 1. Let me know y'all in here. Let's do a quick sound check, if you would. You get 1s in here. All right, we got 1. Let's get 1s in here. I didn't know you was in here. All right, let's get 1s in here. All right. 4, 5. All right. Let's get the 1s in here. All right. Son Christ. All right. So this is the Israelite culture. This is Israelites' culture. You understand? Now, what's going to happen to this bull? Keep going.
And the priests.
Right. He shall kill the bullock before the Lord. Who gonna kill the bullock before the Lord? And it shall be accepted for him to make an atonement. And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord, and the priest, Aaron's sons, Aaron's sons, the priests. Salaki, go ahead.
So you mean to just read that one through?
Yeah.
Or stop at Khan. And the priests, Aaron's sons, shall bring the blood.
They're going to take the blood of this cow that was just alive. Nice, wonderful baby cow that was just alive. And then they're going to kill that cow. Anybody ever been to the lamb slaughter? You know how you kill a cow? You don't kill a cow by singing. You don't kill it by singing. There's 2,000 pounds worth of cow there. That cow was alive, strong. You understand? That cow jump in the ground and stomp and shake the earth. You understand? Shawarya. It's a cow. You understand? Big ox. Well, now it's time for that ox to die. You're going to have to slit that cow's throat. And then when you slit that cow's throat, read from the slaughter it. Read it again.
Khan. You mean from the top or from and the priest?
And the priest.
Khan. And the priests, Aaron's sons, shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
How you get the blood? How you get the blood? Where you going to get the blood from? How you going to get it? The priest going to take and slit that cow's throat. and that cow's throat is going to bleed out as it scream and neigh and hey and do whatever that anything who doesn't want its throat slit would do. That's how you get the blood. And they're going to collect that blood in a bowl. And then what are they going to do with that blood from the cow that was just killed? What are they going to do with it?
And sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
That's right. They're going to pour the blood that was in that cow on the altar, and they're going to sprinkle it around the altar. So if you saw the temple, what would you see in the temple? Would you see men in choir robes that sang with white gloves on, smiling? Would you see little old ladies bent over with hurt feet from wearing them uncomfortable church shoes all them years? The bad feet squeezed into that point. They wear them pointy church shoes. Is that what you're going to see? See sodomite? Damn. I think President Trump said it's Tawab now. Did you see the sodomites now prancing up and down in there, beating the tambourine, singing about Jesus? What would you see if you walked in there? What would you see? What would you hear? What would it look like? You would see people walking in goats and lambs and cows. And you see the priests in the temple. And they would take that cow, and then the priest would come with a knife that all the priests would have. And they would take that cow, and they would probably turn that cow or put that cow in place, or turn that cow or that sheep or that goat over, and then they would cut that cow or that goat. And the cow and the goat would not want to be cut. They'd have to hold it. And then as it's moving, as you're slaughtering it, it's going to bleed everywhere. It's going to scream. It's going to kick. It's going to not want its life to be taken. And then the priests are going to take it all day long. From the birds, from the turtle doves, from the ox, from the sheep, from the goats, and they're going to be covered in blood. You understand? You may have not seen anything get his throat slit before, but they bleed everywhere, and they don't keep still if you don't have a place for them to be. And they're going to collect the blood, and then they're going to take the blood and pour it on the altar, because that's what the Lord requires. And then there's still a dead cow over here. It's bleeding everywhere. Those of you who've ever been to the annual lamb slaughter, this is the actual culture of the Israelites. They're going to slaughter lambs. You understand? In that temple, lambs and sheep were getting slaughtered all day. Does anybody know what the name of the place is where live animals go to get unalived and have all the blood drained from them? Anybody know what that place is called? I know y'all like to go to grocery stores and see the finished product, but does anybody know what that place is called and why you have such a place that does it for you and where you got it from? Why the world has these places as opposed to everyone doing this on their own now? What is that place called? Where all my cooking sisters at? Where the sisters at that like to cook? Where you at? There you go. Trooper Yabakar, quick on the trigger. It's a slaughterhouse. And what's in that slaughterhouse? Blood and carcasses. That's what's in that slaughterhouse. That's right, DeBar. Slaughterhouse. That's the place of the Lord. It's a slaughterhouse. Well, you vegans might not like the Most High very well. You understand? It's a slaughterhouse. That's what happened. And what happened to that cow after the priest slaughtered it? Keep reading.
Verse 6. Oh, Salak, or did you mean go back to the second part of verse 5? Salak.
Give me 6.
That's
right.
Verse 6. And he shall flay the burnt offering.
You shall do what now?
And he shall flay the burnt offering.
Not yet, sis. We're not going to burn it yet. They got to do something to it first. He shall flay it. Hold up. Let me make sure I get the instructions right. You take the blood and you're going to sprinkle the blood. You got to get that blood up out there first. And then he shall flay the burnt offering. What does it mean to flay the burnt offering? What does that mean? You shall flay the burnt offering. How are we going to get that roast beef from Sister Anna? There's a 2,000-pound cow that's dead on the floor. How are we going to get that roast beef that the sister make that's just so tender? It's just so tender. What you say, sis? What you say? Cut it up. How the hell do you cut a 2,000-pound cow up? You're going to have to be, how do you know how to cut a cow up? What type of man knows how to cut up a cow? They say these the priests in the temple, right? But they got to slaughter the lamb and the cow and collect the blood, and then they got to cut it up. What type of man? How do you cut up a cow? What you said, sister? A butcher. Yes. Who's the butcher? In Esau's kingdom, the butcher has a job. He get a career. He worked for Rite Aid. I mean, not Rite Aid. He worked for the grocery store. He worked for Kroger. He's a butcher. How does he know how to chop up the animal? How does he know how to get the flank and the shank and the rib and the quarter and the oxtail and the foot? How does he know how to break it down properly and get all the guts out and the organs and the kidneys and the heart and the tongue? Who knows that? The priests. Yes. The men who represent God, who do the offerings in the service of God in the temple, they run a slaughterhouse. They're butchers. They flay the meat, they grill the meat, they cook the meat, they slaughter the meat, they take the fur and the hide off of the meat. They do all of those things because they have to, give me verse 6. Read 6 again. They have to do what?
Verse 6. And he shall flay the burnt offering.
Flay. To flay means to separate the meat from the skin, from the hide. They got to separate that. Why? So we can get it to Sister Raya. So we can get it to Sister Deborah. Why do they need it? So they can turn it into a garment. So we can wear it. That's why they need it. You understand? Do they season it? What'd you say? Salakia. Do they season it? If that's not what it's for? Oh, sis, wait a minute. That's how I know you didn't watch my show. You understand? It's in there. It's in there, sister. The Bible is black. Episode 1. Episode 1, sister. The first episode. Even put Popeye's chicken as the symbol for the first episode of the series. Everybody go back and watch the series. Did 31 episodes, and you will not get another episode until y'all finish the series. I got more, but you won't get them. Yes, it's going to get seasoned. It's going to get seasoned, sis. Don't worry about it. The priests have to butcher it, slaughter it, break it down, section it up, keep going.
And cut it into pieces, and cut it into his pieces.
Turn it into shanks. Turn it into porterhouse. Turn it into chops. Turn it into Denver. Turn it into sirloin. That's what they got to do with it. Most High in Christ is the water. The water, sister. Damn right. They got to cut it up into pieces. They're not going to set this whole cow on fire. It's 2,000-pound dead cow. What happens if you set a 2,000? Who's going to pick it up? How you going to move it? NATAZACH got to sacrifice a cow. Yagadar got to sacrifice a cow. Anna's in line with a sheep. Deborah's in line with a damn sheep. There's 600 brothers in line with sheep and cattle. Where the hell are we going to put all this this slain livestock. This is gonna pile it up in the corner and let it bleed everywhere. No, they gotta break that meat down. They gotta cut it, break it down, butcher it, slaughter it, because they still have to cook the meat. This is the temple. How much meat you seen getting slaughtered and broken down in the church? You see, everybody swearing they men of God. You go to Italy, the Vatican swear they priest and poping it up for God. You ain't seen nobody. They ain't working no smokers. They ain't slaughtering no cattle. They ain't slaughtering no baby lambs, no rams, no turtle doves. They're not doing anything in the Bible. None. But this is what the priest did in the Bible. These were skilled men that know how to wield a knife, that know how to wield a cleaver, that know how to separate an animal from its hide. These is the men that serving the Lord. These ain't no soft cats. These ain't no soft cats in there. They're not singing you a song. They wielding a sword. You get out of pocket, you understand? That sword will go in you too. You understand? These is the men of God. This is the pedigree of the service of God. Don't have nothing to do with being a woman. Ain't supposed to be no woman in the temple slaughtering the lamb. The lamb is kicking and bucking and got horns and know that you get ready to kill it. It's not trying to get killed. They know what time it is. They hear the other animals screaming in there getting slaughtered, bleeding everywhere. You understand? You think the Bible magic? No. No. You understand? This is what's going on in the temple. Keep going.
Verse 7. And the sons of Aaron, the priest, shall put fire upon the altar.
Now they got to prepare to cook this. They got to grill this up on this altar. Keep going.
And lay the wood in order upon the fire.
Wait a minute now. They got to start up a fire. They got to get the wood. What are they doing? What is this process, NATAZACH? What they doing in here? Anybody ever heard of this process before? Huh? This is Israelite custom in the Bible. What's it called?
They getting their grill ready, sound like to me.
They fired up the grill, you understand? They getting fresh wood, a freshly slaughtered cow. They're getting the fire up there. They're getting that fire started. They're getting the smoker burning good and hot. They done already broke the meat down. That's what's going on. This is the temple of God. This is what's in there. They in there grilling and slaughtering live meats on the grill. They got a smokehouse running. That's the temple of God. That's what pleased the Lord. You understand? That's not what church is. You go into church with that soft carpet and them smooth, that burgundy and that leather. They're not trying to get animal blood all in there. You understand? You got them women in there. This ain't for women. This ain't for your mama. Your mama ain't the one in there slaughtering hundreds, lambs and sheep all day, covered in blood. The animals, please don't kill me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Bad. No. This is it for you, buddy. We're going to break you down and turn you into brisket. La Yasha Ali. This is it for you. You understand? That was the service of the Lord. Keep going.
Verse 8. And the priests, Aaron's sons, shall lay the parts, the head and the fat, the head and the fat, in order upon the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar.
They're going to section that meat in there the proper way. The head is in there. The fat is in there. They're going to get the fat to season, to get the meat cooked nice and right. It's all going in there. It had already been broken down. You're getting the head. You're getting the fat. You don't need no oil or no grease. It's going to get in there and cook right. That fat going up in flames. That head getting smoked. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 9. But his inwards and his legs shall be washed in water.
It says he. His inward part and his legs. Right. The inward part and the legs, for those of you who've never slaughtered an animal before, you've never seen the slaughtering of an animal. When you slaughter an animal, to get to the meat, you got to cut the thing open. You got to slit it down to the gullet, to the tail, so you can get out the entrails and the intestines and the guts. Cows have 4 stomachs. Goats have several stomachs as well. I don't know how many it is. I think it's 3 for goats. I know it's 4 for cows. But you got to get all that out so you can get to the meat. You understand? You got to break it down, get that fur off of there, break it all the way down, section it, cut it up, and then get it back on there. Like, this is what's going on. He's not no soft cats. These ain't choir boys. Talking about, oh, I don't want to get blood on me. I want to get my nails dirty. And I want to, no. You getting in the thick of it. Right in the thick of it. Some bloody animals getting wrangled and taken down and slaughtered and butchered and broken down. That was the skill of the priest. Today, Esau called that man a butcher. He's running your grocery store, your whole damn, what section is that with the butcher? It's the butcher shop, isn't it, where all the meat is?
Well, the deli, man.
Yeah. You don't get meat without the butcher. Your city doesn't eat meat without the butcher. Your fast food places don't get meat without the butcher. Well, the priest was the butcher. This was the skill that the men who served God had. This is the butcher. This is Israelite customs. You understand? Keep going.
And the priest shall burn all on the altar.
They're gonna burn the whole thing. Go ahead.
To be a burnt sacrifice.
Right.
An offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Most High.
Meaning when the Lord smelled that cow getting grilled up, getting charred, then been dressed properly, got the guts and the entrails all taken out, the insides of the torso getting washed and clean, all the blood drained out of it. You understand? Then they're going to break it down and section it and put it all on the grill. All of it, the whole thing. That's what's going on in the temple of the Lord. I ain't heard a nigga sing a song yet. They ain't say nothing about singing. Nobody singing with Christ. Nobody singing in the Old Testament. Nobody singing in the temple. I ain't heard nobody sing nothing yet. People getting hated, animals getting slaughtered, blood getting poured. Sound like something out of a horror movie. If you watched the movie today and you saw men who was in a religious order and they were taking animals and slaughtering animals and butchering it and taking the blood in a bowl and pouring it around an altar, what would you say they were doing? Would you say they were serving God if you saw this movie? That's what you would think? If you went somewhere, Big Mom invited you to church and you got in the church and you seen 4 big brawling brothers in there dragging a cow by their horns and a sheep with a rope around his neck and flipping that sheep over and cutting the sheep and then getting all the blood in a bowl and taking it, chopping it down, flaying the skin, breaking it down. Now, this is the house of the Lord, y'all. This is where you going to learn about God. God is in here. You understand? Nobody would say that. Y'all wouldn't say that. Y'all would say this is demonic. This is evil. This is satanic. They got voices coming out of the tent. They in there slaughtering animals. They're collecting the blood and pouring it all around the temple. You've never been taught about God in the Bible. This is something out of stigmata. This is something out the poltergeist where the TV start bleeding. There's voices coming out of silent places. There's fire. Things get burned up and then voices come out the fire. But this is what's in the Bible. You've never been taught what's in the Bible. This is why Christ said, think not that I come to do away with the law of the prophets. You won't know anything about God without learning this. You still think God is in there with Eddie Long beating the tambourine with a wig on. Mother Henderson with the bad back, bad knees, and bad feet. This is what's really in the Bible. This is the real God of the Bible. You can't learn about who the God of the Bible is and has been, and his name and his reputation and the service of what it requires to stand for God if don't nobody teach you about what you don't know. If nobody teaches you this, you can't learn about God. You don't know anything about it. You still be trying to sing him a song. You understand? You're going to clean the animal. You're going to break it down. You're going to separate the pieces, clean out the guts, wash the insides, break it down. Let's skip down. Let's skip down to our favorite. Give me verse 14. I'm going to hit these last few verses. Give me verse 14.
Verse 14. And if the burnt sacrifice for his offering to the Most High be of fowls.
If it be a fowl, what is a fowl? A fowl is something that flies. Keep going.
Then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves of young pigeons.
A turtle dove is a type of pigeon. A pigeon is a dove, or YAHANNA. That's the Lord's favorite bird, is a dove. That's why his favorite is what he's going to accept as a sacrifice. Now keep in mind, this is the Lord's favorite bird. And because it's his favorite bird, the one that he loves the most, he will accept you doing this to his favorite bird as an offering. Let's keep reading. This is the opposite of what you've been taught about God. If you say this is my favorite, how do you feel about your favorite? This is my favorite pair of shoes. This is my favorite friend. This is my favorite car. This is my favorite outfit, my favorite hat, my favorite glasses, my favorite drawers, my favorite socks. How do you feel about your favorite? Come on, y'all, my brothers and sisters. How do you feel about your favorite? Your favorite place to go, your favorite food, your favorite drink, your favorite meal. What sister say? Sister Raya said, cherish it. That's so sweet, sister. It's so sweet. That's wonderful. You cherish. There you go, sis. Ain't nothing wrong with that answer. That's a good princessly answer. Nothing wrong with that. Come on, y'all. Give me some more. Fire off. Come on now. Right, quick on the trigger. Come on now. Give me what you got. Come on now. Where's Anna? Where's Tawaba? Where's Akal Sapar and Shemagabar? Got no answers from y'all. Give me some answers. You don't want it to have blemish. You hold on to it forever. You hold on to it forever. Fawada, since the bar said savor. You want to savor it. I mean, this is your favorite. Your favorite shoes, your favorite this. The water, Sister Tazarah. Tazarah said you want to protect it because it's your favorite. It's special to you. You love it. You care about it. You want to hold on to it. You cherish it. All right. Officer, you got to change your name, brother, as well, because you're not a trooper no more. Officer Yahasha said to rejoice. You celebrate it. You love it. No sweat, brother. No sweat. You good. You celebrate it. Some more answers, y'all. What does it say? All right, the water for you, for the water for y'all that answered. All right. But that's what it is. You celebrate it, you protect it. Well, this is the Lord's favorite. Christ was his favorite person. And the Lord said, it pleases me to bruise my son. Tawabab said, adore. You adore it. It's wonderful, it's sweet, you cherish it, you savor it, you protect it. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. But the Lord is a man of war. And he's not mom. He's not like mom. No. He said, this is my favorite. The scriptures say the Lord is his savior. Somebody said, whoever's penny is, make sure you sign in for attendance. I know who that is. All right, don't bring that up. It says here, it's his favorite. You want to hold on to it. Well, that's not how the Lord feels about his favorite. Keep reading. Let's see what the Lord said. This is his favorite bird. Everybody gets it, and now the Lord will accept it as an offering. What's going to happen to his favorite bird? Keep going.
Verse 15. And the priest shall bring it unto the altar.
That bird going to the altar too, just like the lamb and the ox is going to that altar. Go ahead.
And wring off his head.
Got it. And do what now?
And wring off his head.
It's the Lord's favorite bird now. The dove, they're going to wring off his head. Anybody know what it means to wring off a bird's head? Y'all know what that means? The Lord said, bring his favorite bird, that turtle dove, that quail, that pigeon, nice and tender, a nice little bird in there for the offering. It's a little tiny bird. It's all colorful. It's got the feathers. It's blinking around and twitching like a bird. And all the sisters say it. They say, oh, it's so beautiful. And they're going to take that bird in that temple, and the priest is going to take that bird and snatch it and then wring off its neck. Or snatch it, break its neck, keep going.
And burn it on the altar.
Dang it. Snatch it, break its neck, set it on fire. Keep going.
And the blood thereof shall be wrung out at the side of the altar.
That blood going to get poured out of the side of the altar. That's the end of that bird. Keep going.
Verse 16. And he shall pluck away his crop with his feathers.
The crop, that's the gut meat, the throat and the gullet of that bird, and the feathers. The feathers getting taken off. The throat, the crop, the gut meat, all that, gizzards, all that's getting taken out. Keep going.
And cast it beside the altar on the east part.
They're going to put that on the east. Keep going.
By the place of the ashes.
The ashes, for whatever get burnt up and grilled up and turns into ash, that bird carcass going there. That's favorite bird now. This is the Lord's favorite bird out of all the birds. And that bird going to get his neck shook and wrung and ripped off, and the blood drained, and the feathers plucked, and the guts extracted, and it's going on the east side. Keep going.
Verse 17. And he shall cleave it with the wings thereof.
He's going to separate the wings. Anybody ever been to the grocery store before? You know why you got packets of wings? Because in the Bible, the Lord gives instructions to the children of Israel how to break down a bird. That's why you got packages of somebody breaking down the bird for you, that you can spend $10 and get a family pack of wings. Or you can buy chicken breasts, all packaged for you, that somebody already wrung the neck and ripped out the crop and took off the feathers and cleaved the meat and then packed it, sacked it up nice for you to go and buy from Smithfield or Richland or Kirkland Farms or Purdue or Tyson. Keep going.
But shall not divide it asunder.
You're not going to separate it. It's going to stay whole. You're not going to divide it asunder. Keep going.
And the priest shall burn it upon the altar.
Now it's going to get burned upon the altar. You're not going to separate it. You're going to burn the whole thing on the altar. Keep going.
Upon the wood that is upon the fire.
They're going to cook it on the wood. Open flame on the wood. Keep going.
It is a burnt sacrifice.
It's a burnt sacrifice unto the Lord. See, the Lord accepts sacrifice. Salaki, go ahead.
An offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Most High.
See, this pleases the Lord. See, you don't actually know about the Most High. You didn't learn about God. This is why it's so difficult to navigate through life. You don't understand that. You don't understand it because you've been learning about God from mommy with hugs and kisses that takes the favorite and set it here and just rocks and rocks back and forth with it. He said, no, it's my favorite bird. That's the Lord's favorite bird. And I'm going to make sure that my favorite people have access to my favorite bird because it's precious and special to me. And it'll be precious and special to you because you are my children. And if you're going to make an offering to me, you're going to give the best of what you have, which is the best of what I have. And because you are more important than my favorite bird, it's going to have its neck broken and its feathers plucked and its wings cut asunder, and it's going to be drained of its blood and grilled and cooked. And its life is going to be sacrificed because you are my favorite. And Christ was bruised and broken and sacrificed, who was the Lord's absolute favorite person for the children of Israel, who are the Lord's favorite people. You see, the Spirit of the Most High is completely different from what you've been taught, what our people have learned about God. It is such a drastic difference that if you actually are exposed to the Spirit of God and learn about God, to you with a different spirit that accepts the child abuse, that accepts the thief, that accepts the robber, that accepts the brother having sex with somebody else's woman, that accepts abortion, that votes for its leaders, that crucified Christ, that disobeyed the prophets, that eats unlawful things and then dies from it, that makes their children sick and addicted to drugs and full of STDs because you break God's laws on sex. All of those things they will accept. But if you open the Bible and see what God requires to you, because you're a Christian, it will seem like a cult. It'll seem demonic. It'll seem evil. It'll seem cruel. The spirit that is on our people is so far removed from the spirit of the Lord that you can't even begin to understand who Christ is without understanding all the lessons that God revealed to his servants, the priests and prophets throughout the entire Old Testament. You won't know what God Christ is talking about. You won't know about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and why they keep being talked about in Hebrews and in the New Testament. If the prophets and the law are done away with, none of this matters. This contains the spirit of the Most High. You understand? This is how you learn who you are. This is how you learn who your forefathers were. This is how you learn your identity. This is how you learn to serve Christ. This is how you learn about the Lord's Spirit. This is how you learned about the God of our fathers that is talked about all throughout the New Testament. You can't separate them. You won't know what it is you're serving. That's why Christ told the Samaritan woman at the well in John the 4th chapter, you don't know who you're serving. We know who we serve, for salvation is of the Jews. This is what the Lord does to his favorite book. When Christ returns, the world is under an illusion about God and about the Bible. That's why when I interviewed that devil downtown at the National Mall, wherever the hell we were talking to him, in his mind, the Lord Jesus is something nice and sweet, and you slick your hair back and you speak proper, and you be as pretty as you possibly can and use nice words, and the good, honest, hard Lord, our Savior, nice and sweet and soft and tender. That's not what it means to serve God. When Christ returns, it's going to be the single most terrible day in all of human existence. And you, brothers and sisters, will absolutely already be prepared for it. Because our God requires animals be slaughtered and their blood sprinkled around the temple. You understand? We have a different spirit. You have a different spirit because this is the spirit that the Lord had. You understand? That's why they say you're in a cult. Because if you obeyed the Lord in the Old Testament, you would have been in a cult too. If you followed Christ, he healing people at their funeral. He raising people out of wheelchairs. He's spitting in blind people's eyes and they can see. They say he's in a cult. He have a devil. He cast out devils by the prince of devils. All kind of madness and stuff like that. They said the same thing about Christ. They're definitely going to say it about you. That's why we put it on shirts. We put it in songs. You understand? And we are not their victim. We're not their victim because we have the power to show them mercy, even though they would not show us mercy if they had the opportunity. That's why Commander General YAHANNA and Christ rose up an army and not a church. And with that, we're going to end that there. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You start out at 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. You're not affiliated with any other Israelite groups. You understand? Rule for brother and sister. When a brother and sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They be saluted only. They're here to learn and share themselves to the world. After this 6-month period, if a brother and sister has an interest in a particular person, they're to get counsel from the head. NATAZACH, you got the announcements there with you? You got them there with you, don't you? You go ahead and read. I'm saying it from memory to 15 years. You go ahead and read. You got them there.
All right, we had the ISUPK started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sisters. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21 or Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means 10th. And in the Hebrew, it's pronounced ma'ashara. It's 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you. You can give it to the Treasury Department. You can also go to isupk.com and pay it directly there. Priest Fund is a free will offering for the priest. It's not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocations. Our next upcoming Holy Convocation is the Feast of Purim, which I believe is March 13th and 14th. So everybody be aware of that. The High Holy Day Department will be in contact. And then after that, we have the Lord's 56th annual Passover, which is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Most High in Christ. Damn right. That's coming up fast. So make sure everybody's taking care of their accommodations. Everybody who's in the school should get messaging about accommodations. Either you should have or you will very soon. All right. And lastly, if any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, he needs to be in all black. That's black boots, pants, shirt, headband, and war scarf. You need to make sure you get in contact with the ISUPK nearest you. You can Google ISUPK near me. You can also go to isupk.com. If you are a sister in the school, so like if you're a sister who wants to be in the school, you need to do the same thing. You can't be a trooper, but you need to contact the ISUPK nearest you. And if you are in Virginia, the number is 757-550-1204.
And with that, I'm going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers, men of Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatham.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatham.
Yadi Matah, the sisters, Shalom, Yahweh Shamar, Al-Athan, Yahweh Shah. With that,
hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West.
Welcome to Atlanta. Price, this Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior YAHANNA.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahawashi, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man, if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're